Okay, and I am recording. It is December 31st, 2016. Oh my gosh. Some way, somehow we made it to the end of the year. This year has been an incredible year. For some people, that's a great incredible. For some other people, that's a what the heck happened type of incredible. But it's been an incredible year. Highs, lows, valleys, peaks, and all everything in between. So we made it, and that's super important. So the whole point of this luxury goal setting 2017 planning virtual retreat is to honor yourself and put yourself in the right space to be able to create a 2017 that works, that is aligned with who you are, that allows you to go big and conquer those scary or worrisome things that have been on your list for a very long time. And so we're going to deal with that. So I'm Keisha P. Shields, good girl expert, smart girl success coach. I worked as a corporate executive for several years. I also am an entrepreneur. I've had several businesses, some which have thrived and some which I got the heck out as soon as I could because I had no idea what I was doing. But I went for it because the only thing you can really do is try, and that's all. So that's what I did. I had a boutique at one point. That didn't last. I did corporate consulting for a very, very long time, over 10 years, about 10 years or so. I do Brainy Girl, Smart Girl coaching and consulting. And I also, last year, the last few years, I spent the bulk of the time teaching luxury personal branding for kick butt women, especially those with online businesses or those who are trying to brand themselves as an online brand in a luxury marketplace. And so that's a little bit of my kind of business background. But what I found is that when I was working with clients, no matter what they came to me for, we almost always, no, I'm going to actually say always, now that I think about it, we always ended up spending the bulk of our work together talking about them, like the woman herself. The business was there, the brand was there. Yes, we were going to get to all of that, but she wanted me to support her. She wanted me to know everything about her so that I could make sure she was staying true to who she was, so that I could make sure she was in alignment with who she wanted to be. And I had to own the fact that I need to stop hiding my work behind this veil, this tactical veil. And it is something that a lot of people, especially a lot of online entrepreneurs, tend to struggle with, is feeling obligated to have a tangible business, feeling obligated to always have a tangible result. That was one of the biggest things that I dealt with. And I know a lot of other people do as well. And so what I decided to do 2017 was to completely own that and completely own the fact that I'm working with high achievers, high performers, but sometimes they're not always at the forefront. They're usually the brains behind the operations, or they have businesses that they haven't really been able to get to that place they want it to be. Whatever it is, they know that there is little separation between their life and their business. And they want somebody who understands that at a deeply innate level, to understand that if you want my business, we come as a package deal. And that's very important. A lot of people don't have that. And so for 2017, I decided I'm going to focus on my 2 signature programs, Your Brain is Your Money and Heaven, Hustle, and Homegirls, which is about higher calling, turning that higher calling into a lucrative income source for you, and having a really amazing, high-class sisterhood accountability system to help you, excuse me, got some water, to help you along the way. Hopefully I don't die here. Yes, exactly, Paisley. Thank you. Give me one moment. And really owning that. And so I knew that what I wanted to do was share with other amazing women kind of what I do to meet my marks, to really own my luxury goals, because you don't really hear people talking about setting luxury goals, or BGDs as I call them, big glamorous dreams, big gorgeous dreams, or as one of my clients called it, big girl dreams, right? It's, for me, it's about that. And you don't really hear that. And that's why I want to talk about it, because, you know, what if you just love fabulous things, right? Like I do, right? I love fabulous stuff, but I'm not pretentious or materialistic. Okay, I think I'm dying, you guys. So we're gonna fix that. So I'm gonna tell you like this. There's really 3 parts to luxury goal setting and planning for your year. Okay? 3 parts. The first part is celebrating and releasing the current year. Okay? Celebrating and releasing the current year. The second part is embracing your grown and sexy year that's about to come up, and which is what we're really going to go through today in this class. Embracing your grown and sexy year. And the third portion is creating your money plan for the following year. So those are the 3 portions. So celebrating and releasing your current year, embracing your grown and sexy year, and what's it last? And then doing your money plan for the upcoming year. Okay, so why did I decide to do it as a retreat? Because it's so important that you realize how significant you are. That you understand that you need to be in that space where you feel beautiful and amazing and you feel limitless. You recognize everything is possible and you're not getting into the noise. There's so much noise. You find yourself comparing yourself to somebody else's business, somebody else's life, somebody else's brand. Like they say, there's this whole Instagram life that people are like getting depressed because they don't have that life. I don't have that life, and in fact, that seems like way too much to keep up if you ask me. So don't worry about that. You need to be around the things that make you feel special, the things that make you feel amazing. And before you know it, the true goals, the true things that you want to do, that you want to have come true this year will happen. Now, a lot of people skip right into what they want to do in 2017. They don't take the time to stop and acknowledge 2016, this current year, the great things, the challenges, to really embrace it, to really own it. And nobody has to know your truth but you. That's perfectly okay. I had an appointment on my calendar earlier today reminding me to read this letter to myself that I wrote December 31st of 2015. And I put the reminder on my calendar 1 year ago so that I wouldn't forget what it was. So maybe an hour before I got on this call, I went through where my letter was and I opened that letter and I read it to myself. And boy, did I have a mix of emotions. I wrote the letter to myself in as loving a way as possible. I started the letter, for example, hello, gorgeous. You know, be kind to yourself in 2016. You know, blah, blah, blah. I talked about who I wanted to become, what work I wanted to do, the income level that I wanted to climb to. I talked about how I wanted to honor my husband more, how I wanted to do these various things. And it was so eye-opening because a lot of it didn't happen, and I know why. But the significant things did. The ones that actually at the end of the day matter, those did. And so I was like literally in tears because I felt this mix of emotions. On one hand, I felt so proud of myself. And on the other hand, I felt like, wow, like do it, go for it more, do what you want. Like I had that mix. And so I think that's so important. And what I'm going to do tonight after I get off of this call is I'm going to write the letter to myself for 2017 to read 1 year from now, because I've grown so much, I've learned so much, and it's something that I really, really, really encourage you to do if you don't already do that. This was the first year I did that, right? And so if you don't do it, I encourage you to do it. Put it on your calendar tonight if you get off this call or when you're relaxing and in your space, do it. Be kind to yourself and be honest and go for what you want. And you'll be surprised when you read it a year later to see what happens, okay? So I'm going to take a moment and I want you, and I'm going to do it myself as well. I want you to visualize this 2016, okay? Starting from January all the way until now. I want you to feel what comes up for you right away. Okay? I encourage you to actually take notes about what comes up for you. What things went really freaking well for you this year? What was it? And if you want to share something, that would be amazing. Because this has been a crazy year for people. But if you can think of one thing, at least one, that made you so happy this year, what would it be? And you don't have to share it, but write it down, acknowledge it. And I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to pause for just a moment here. Okay. So Paisley, I feel like I'm more myself than I have ever been. That is amazing. How do you know that you are more yourself than you've ever been? What makes you know that? And while Paisley's responding to that, I want you to celebrate yourself for what you kept your word to yourself about this year. What was something that you said you were going to do and you freaking did it? Celebrate yourself for that. What did you do? And it can be hard to, sometimes you don't feel like you really did a lot. But when you think about it, what did you do really well? What did you freaking do this year that you wasn't going to? Okay, Paisley says, I feel more confident in myself and excited to see where I will go in 2017. I'm not afraid anymore. Woohoo! Paisley, that's amazing. That's really awesome. And I can relate to that a lot too. One of my things that made me happy and proud of myself this year that I'm celebrating myself here on this call is I kind of came out of my shadow a lot. A lot of people who know me, see me, they know I'm very confident, but a lot of people don't realize how introverted I am and like to myself. And that shocks a lot of people. And so I tend to be the girl behind the scenes that's helping so many other people elevate quantum leaps. I mean, huge shifts, as Paisley knows. And I never have really put myself out there. I was always the one behind the scenes making sure that they got their recognition and all of that. And so I'm celebrating myself because this year, I mean, it took me to the end of the year to be completely transparent. That's one thing you will learn about me is I'm very transparent. I will tell you what has worked for me, what has not worked for me. Okay? And it took me toward the end of the year, but I did it. And I decided to just recognize and own my truth about that. I've also came out of the shadow. There were some stereotypes and stigmas that I've had to deal with. That I'm celebrating myself for that because that's been a huge struggle for over a dozen and a half years. So it's been a very long time. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. What is something that you need to release? Something that you just knew was going to be different about your 2016. You knew this was going to be the year that I blank, blank, blank. Nothing could have told you it wasn't going to happen. But guess what? It did not happen. Didn't happen. Whatever the reason, I want to take a moment and I want you to write down what comes to mind for you. Okay, so I hope you were able to come up with something. I came up with several things, partially because I read my letter to myself from last year about what I wanted to accomplish, and also because I have my money plan from last year, talking about all the things I was going to do this year. So, and which a lot of them didn't happen just because I actually didn't put it out there, not because it would not have worked. And that's something for myself that I have to release, is that disappointment in myself that I didn't crush my business money goal in the way that I wanted to. In the way that I wanted to. That's a big difference, okay? Because let's say you have a goal to make $2,000 a month, right? In your own business, which, by the way, that's freaking awesome. I don't care what anybody tells you, especially when it's your own thing. Let's say your goal is to make $2,000 a month, and you want to do that by working with, let's say, 2 to 3 clients in a month, and that's all. But you found yourself pricing yourself to where you had to work with 12 people in order to accomplish that. You may have gotten your money goal, but did you honor yourself? Did you put yourself first? Did you make the money the way that you intended to? That's important for you to acknowledge. And I am releasing that disappointment in myself, beating myself up because I didn't hit the marks the way that I wanted to this year. And I have to own the reason why, because I spent the bulk of the year putting my husband's situation as a priority, right? And it pushed so many other things back from myself. And doing that, I mean, it worked out. It worked out, a huge, huge, huge blessing. But given a chance again, I don't think I would have done it that way because I didn't honor myself. And that was one of the things I said I wanted to do, was put myself first. Another thing that didn't happen that I have to release, and actually, I'll just be very real with you. My calendar. This is my calendar from 2016. Okay, you see it? By the way, I have one for 2017 I haven't even opened yet, which I'll do in the planning section. My calendar for 2016, okay? If you can't tell, I love Paris. Just so you know, okay? All right. So with that being said, December 31st last year, doing my planning, what I did was I went through my calendar and I used, remember I told you guys to consider getting washi tape? If you don't know what washi tape is, I'm assuming that's how you even say it, to be honest. It's like this stuff here, right? Like little designer tape that you can put, you can like take it off, reposition it and all that. So I use that to my calendar. And I color coordinated these. Okay, sorry. I used my washi tape and I put these little spots for, oh, this is on this day, I'm going to do a live call, a live this, a live that, right? That was my goal, but didn't happen, which I'll go into why it didn't happen. Here, this calendar's gotten a little filthy. Here, the next month, as an example, I blocked out the days I wanted to travel, okay? The days I wanted to travel, right, with the travel thing. And I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to travel on these days. I'm going to do my live stuff these days, all of that good stuff, right? And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I need to release that. And I need to own it. And I need to acknowledge it. But then I need to embrace what is next regarding that. I didn't. Sorry, I got a comment. Candace, you are very, very welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming by. Thank you. So I am releasing the fact that it didn't happen, but I'm embracing the fact that I recognize why and that I'm going to set it with intention this time and with the plan behind it to ensure that it does occur. And that is the difference. So keep in mind that whenever you are releasing something, I want you to intentionally identify what you're going to embrace instead of that. Okay? And I will give you an example that has nothing to do with business because, like I told you, as much as I can help you with your business, it's so much more important to me that I'm focused on you, the woman, making sure that you're feeling whole as much as I can, that you feel attended to, right? Attended to, that you feel important and significant, that you recognize your value, that you're not undervaluing and underplaying yourself, and that you're able to be transparent in that space so that I can help you figure out what you need to do to go forward, right? And so an example I wanted to share was a former client of mine who came to me for luxury branding help, okay, her luxury personal brand. And we were doing her retreat, and we were in San Diego, which is where I typically hold them because that's where I am now. And we were here where we go by the ocean we have a whole release and embrace kind of ceremony where we sit in front of the ocean or wherever that spot is for them and literally just sit cross-legged, looking directly at each other, okay, holding hands sometimes, and I just have them close their eyes. I had her close her eyes, and I asked her, what do you need to release yourself from? What guilt do you need to release yourself from? And I just got quiet to give her that space, to honor that space for her. And I realized by adding that word guilt in as an example, completely shifted what she was probably going to say. Because she sat there, like, and before you know it, tears were just coming down her eyes. And she prides herself on not being an emotional woman, whatever that means, you know. Depending on the day of the week and whether or not it's your period, anybody can be emotional. Just keeping it real, okay? Whatever that means for her. But she was just in tears, and I literally sat there just holding her hand, and I said, "Tell me, what is it that you need to release? It's trying to come up. What is it? What is it? What is it?" And she started talking, and one of the things that she said through her tears was feeling like she was holding herself back because she was afraid that when she outgrew the level where her family was, they would think something about her. They would misjudge her, mistreat her, make her feel like she is better than them. That was a huge piece of why she kept herself where she was when she knew she had a much more significant way of being. She knew she had a much more significant thing that she needed to put out there and needed to be paid for. She knew it. But because she had been holding on to that guilt, that fear of what my family will think of me if I suddenly go from this income level to making multiple six figures in a year or 2 years. What would they think of me? And that one thing had a significant impact on her life, on her moving forward. So we had to release that. But what I told her, because this is my own perspective, because I do things with myself before I do them with other people. It might sound strange, but it's true. I told her, if you don't embrace something else in place of that, you will never fully release it. Ever. And I asked her, what do you want to embrace? And she couldn't come up with anything. So I just kind of talked it through with her. And I said, well, when you catapult to that next level, wouldn't that mean that you would be able to pave the way for them? To give them an advantage? To be able to have them look at you and see that this can actually happen to someone I know, right? This is not someone on TV. Like, oh my gosh, this can actually happen to me. What if you inspired that type of reaction and response? And you've been holding yourself locked because of your guilt and your fear. But what if? What if? And I let her sit with that. And I mean, just more tears and more tears. And let me tell you this may seem very insignificant to you if you cannot relate to that feeling. I know because I have been there. I was afraid for a very long time. Well, my family's going to think I'm better than them or they're this and that. And I held myself back, which is really a shame. So I could actually identify that pain body, as my husband would always say, right? And she had to embrace something instead, which she did. And I looked at her this year and I'm like, excellent job. Like, because she completely shifted her thing and started making money and making friendships and relationships and being seen as someone who knows what they're doing by people who recognize that value. Just by shifting that, she no longer saw it as a burden, as something to be fearful of, but that, wow, I can actually show them what's possible. And that didn't hold her back any further. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to think about what that is for you. what you're going to embrace instead. And so I won't really, well, I guess I can take examples if someone wants to share, but I will give you an example of something for myself. I talked about how I needed to release the fact that I didn't do any of the personal travel that I wanted to do. The personal time didn't happen for me, and I need to release that. But that alone doesn't work for me. So what I have to embrace instead is that putting Keisha #1 on my calendar is the non-negotiable for me this year. That means I'm not plugging in all my business dates. Oh, this program might happen here, then, when, class, whatever. Not happening until I decide what I want to do first, which we're going to get into as we move into the next section. You ready? So that was celebrating and releasing. Now, if you were able to see your little worksheet, isn't this pretty? Pepe did this. Thank you. So your embrace, your grown and sexy year, the 2017 version. I'll put it to the screen so you can know which one I'm talking about. Okay. And all the comments here, I tell you. Okay. Embrace your grown and sexy year, 2017. The life planning and luxury goal setting. So we are going to, for now, I'm going to leave my old calendar out. Okay. So let's start from the top. There is, as you can see, 4 steps that I tried to break it down to in 4 simplistic steps for you. When you're trying to plan your life in 2017, I'm going to tell you why I said that. Your job is a part of your life. Your business is a part of your life. Your relationships are a part of your life. So then why don't we ever plan our life? Why not? Why do we plan our business, plan our job? I'm leaving this job on this day. Raising my price on this time. Whatever the case is. Why do we do that in pockets and we wonder why it doesn't work? You're not honoring your life. You're not remembering that all these elements are a part of your everyday. Okay? That's why I'm focusing on planning your life. Okay? Step 1, get all up in your feels. And yep, it actually does say that. You see that? Get all up in your feels, right? Because that's how I would say it. Because that's how I wrote it on here. If you don't like it, I'm probably not the right fit for you. Goodbye, adios, and that's okay. I wish you the best in 2017 and beyond. Okay? So, 2017, I want you to get all up in your feels. And this is what I mean. And I'm actually going to say this, and I'm going to pause for about 2 minutes because I want you to be true, be honest. This is not the time to lie to yourself. This is the time to be who you know you're ready to become this year. You've already released all that other stuff that didn't happen, the disappointment, the shame, the whatever it is. And hopefully you found something to embrace instead. I don't know why I look like I was about to go boxing or something. Ignore that. But 2017, the year I want to feel blank. The year I want to feel blank. And I'm going to pause it without giving any prompts. Oh, we already have a comment. Okay. The year I want to feel blank. And I want you to really embrace the line space there and think about 2017, you being who you want to become. And I said I wasn't going to give a prompt, but I kind of think about who I want to become this year. Or let me rephrase that. Not who I want to become, how I'm going to become more of who I'm ready to be now. Okay? 2017, the year I want to feel blank. I will be right back with you because I'm going to fill it out also. Okay, so I know I said 2 minutes. Don't know if it's actually been 2 minutes, but I was writing this out. I didn't actually pre-do this before our call because I wanted to do it in real time. And I realized something that's coming up for me is when you think about how you want to feel, right? I want you to think about how you want to feel at the end of your day, during the middle of your day. For me, it's that end of the day. At the end of my day, I want to feel blank. Or when I first wake up, I want to feel this. Or at the end of the year, I want to feel this. There's so many ways you can do it, but I want you to be very honest and transparent with yourself. So I'm going to pause it again for another minute, and then we'll come back for this one. Okay, so I wanted to point out one thing. If you'll notice on the worksheet, I intentionally did not put this year I want to feel. I put 2017, the year I want to feel blank. So if you read it as this year I want to feel, why don't you consider reading it as the year I want to feel and see if that changes anything for you. There's a really, really, really important reason why I did that. Okay, now, one of the comments, and if you want to share your comment, feel free to do so. So one comment says, I want to feel powerful. I like that. I like that. What does feeling powerful feel like for you? Let's see if we can go a little deeper with that one. What does feeling powerful feel like for you? And or look like for you? Okay. So while that's happening, I will share a portion of what I wrote, which is the year I want to feel like everything that requires me this year goes through me first for alignment approval. Meaning, I want to feel like I stopped and checked in with myself. Checked in with myself to make sure that this is alignment approval. To make sure that I stop for a moment and go, you know what? Let me check my calendar to make sure that works with my flow. Right? That's important. Because if you have vacation time planned out, you don't want to spend like the day after you come back hustling because you have too many commitments, right? It takes it away. So I want to feel like everything that requires me goes through me for alignment approval. And that can be tough because in the moment, it's very easy to want to give a response. Yes, it feels good. And yes, it may even be aligned. I had that happen just the other day, a really great collaboration that I was extremely excited to do, and I still am, because it was congruent. It made sense for what I have planned or who I desired to show up as in 2017. The problem was it felt right now it requires too much of me this upcoming month. After that, it will probably be perfectly smooth. But this is the month where it gets jump started and it's too much. I would have had to put that on my calendar first. And I promised myself that wasn't going to happen because they needed to know right away what dates I was going to do something. But I had not put myself on here first. And I promised myself that would have to change this year. And because of that, I had to let them know that unfortunately, I have to withdraw from the opportunity. I even told them, you guys can keep the money I've paid. I'm fine with that because I know that it will go for a great cause And I told him, put the money toward a cause. Put, whatever the case is. I didn't want the money back. That wasn't my issue. Okay? But I would have had to put that on my calendar before myself. Trust me, this is the first time that's ever happened. Ever. I have always been a chronic people pleaser. Yes, 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 I will. Yes, I can. Working 80, 90 hours a week, almost every single week for a very, very long time. This is significant for me and will be a game changer. Okay. So the clarifying statement, which was, I asked, what does feeling powerful really feel like? The reply is that I'm on top of everything in my life and loving it. Health, business/career, personal life. That is awesome that you're on top of everything in my life and loving it. That's going to be significant. Keep that statement in mind when we go down to steps 2 and 3 and 4, actually. Well, all of them are so important. So that's really good to know. You want to feel powerful. So for you, Miss, I want to feel powerful. When you took some time to explore it a bit more, did anything else come up for you about how you want to feel this year? I'd love for you to share. So, okay, so the next one, this is still step 1. 2017, the year I don't want to feel blank. The year I do not want to feel blank. I want to know what comes up for you, if you don't mind sharing. The year I don't want to feel blank. And this time I'm going to let the recording play for a moment while I jot down my answer. Too bad I don't have some music playing in the background for you. Just me, all by myself over here. Here I don't want to feel. These are kind of tough. All right. So, reply says, oh, and by the way, for those of you watching the recording, if you see the camera shaking, it's because I'm writing on the desk. I don't want to feel overwhelmed, unproductive, or like I wasted time. That is an excellent response. And I think a lot of people that are watching this will relate to that. Will relate to that. And then so what I would tell you to explore further is what will make you feel like you've wasted time. Okay, something for you to explore. If you want to share that, you're more than welcome to do so. If not, you can explore it, internally. Okay, and I'm going to add one other thing here that I intentionally did not write down. Okay, not meeting several goals throughout the year for sure. Got you. Okay, that's why it's so important to have goals that make sense, that are not just goals you're setting, but they're measures that you can actually choose to accomplish and to bring into your year. Okay, so the year I will no longer obligate myself to blank. This is still a part of that second question. What have you been obligating yourself to? There's something. What have you been obligating yourself to? This was a really powerful question when I explored that question maybe about a couple of weeks ago. What do you no longer want to obligate yourself to? Okay. Okay. Okay, so the next one, now that one I think is a really personal one. So I'm gonna let that be an internal thing. If you want to share, you're more than welcome to do so. But it's something that I think is important for you to just make note of and be really conscious about it. Step 2, nail down your BGD. What is BGD? Your big glamorous dream, your big gorgeous dream, your big girl dream, as I told you my other client mentioned it was. So the second section, my big, gorgeous, I don't think you heard me, gorgeous dream. This 2017 is what? This is where you have to take the limit off of this. You know how many people I know that have quantum leaped from having a brand new business to multiple six figures, or how many people I know who started the year, for example, in a job making a few bucks an hour to getting into a much better position that may have been the same pay rate, but they're way more aligned, or a much better position altogether, right? It doesn't matter where you're starting on January 1. What matters is where you want to be throughout your year. So what is your big, unstoppable, powerful, queen bee, gorgeous dream? What is it? Is it to be featured or published somewhere? Is it to have a successful high-income business? Is it to add a luxury income stream into your life? Is it to add more beauty into your life? Is it to focus more on your style, which is really helping you to feel more internally aligned? Is it being non-negotiable and exploring life? What is that for you? Okay, now hold on one second. Here we go. Now let me say this, okay? If you're finding that you are forcing this reply, do not write it. If you've written it, scratch it out. We're going through these steps, but I don't want you to rush it. That's why I want you to watch this replay, because I want you to own it. I found myself challenged to write a reply to that. Not because I don't know, but because I want to make sure it encompasses everything that I plan to have show up into my life this year. So I did write something, and I did write something else, but this is something that I'm actually going to explore a bit more after this call, as I'm doing my actual planning a little more in depth. One of the things I wrote is my big gorgeous dream this year is to live. Man, I have been in a shell. Yes, I have, like a hermit. I mean, it's really. And I need to live. You know, I've worked really hard to have what I have, and I'm not a flashy, showy person. I'm so down to earth. And yes, I have success, but I don't live it. I don't explore the things that I could. So I said to live, but that's too basic. That's not a measurable goal. So what I wrote beside it is every month is an opportunity. So schedule an opportunity every month. Right? So what does that mean to me to live? Every month is an opportunity. So schedule an opportunity every month. All right? That's one of my big gorgeous dreams this year. So if nothing else, there would have been 10, 11, 12 months where I lived, right? So be honest with yourself, be open. Okay. Let's add a note here. Uh-oh, it's shaking. Okay, so if you want to share a portion of your BGD, your big, gorgeous dream, please feel free to do so. And while we're here, let me tell you why I came up with this concept of BGD, okay? I'm pretty sure that many of you who might be in the online coaching / consulting world or online world period may have heard of a BHAG, right? A lot of people use it. It's a big, hairy, audacious goal. Someone kind of coined that term. I cannot, for life of me right now, remember who it was. A BHAG, right? Gosh, that sounds so nasty. I don't want anything that has to do with being a hag. I'm just telling you. I could not for the life of me wrap my mind around something like a BHAG being something that felt beautiful. I just couldn't, you know? And so I'm like, what feels right for me? That's similar. And it is my big, gorgeous, glamorous dream. Why? Because it allows me to own my luxury goals, right? And it focuses on how I want to feel, how I want to show up, rather than what I accomplish. When I focus on how I want to feel, when I focus on how I will feel when I show up, I know that I'm much more likely to actually accomplish the goal that I wanted to begin with, okay? So if you finding that you're struggling to set quality goals and actually achieve them, luxury goals are not easy. People are afraid to say that they have style and taste and class and standards. Like I will tell you, I have designer standards when it comes to representing my company, right? Or whatever it is. When I'm in my relationships, I have designer standards that I hold myself to. In addition, right? So own it. You know, I teach luxury goal setting and luxury goal achievement. You know, one of my BGDs, not this year, but some years on the line, is to have my own private jet. You know, that's a BGD for me. I don't even need to tell you why, but I will tell you why. Because I am, at my core, a huge philanthropist. The idea of being able to, at a moment's notice, travel the world, partaking in things that mean so much to my heart, to my spirit, to be able to write $200,000-$300,000 checks to causes that matter to me is hugely important. And also, my private jet will allow me to live the way that I want to on my own terms. And I don't care what anyone thinks about that BGD. It's mine, right? If your BGD is to get a car this year, excellent. Excellent. I've been there. You understand? As you elevate, different BGDs will arise. Maybe your BGD this year is to feel safe in your home. Maybe that's a big thing for you. It doesn't have to be a huge business or career goal. That will come. Those will be the goals that are wrapped into the BGD for the year, okay? Now, the next step, which is step 3, calendar play. This is where you are required, and this is class, okay, students? This is class. You're required to put yourself and your dream activities on the calendar first. Now, I am not going to stay here to watch you do that, okay? This is something that you do offline. Don't feel forced to do it tonight or tomorrow. Take your time, but make sure that you have January dialed down in terms of you. I don't care if you don't have anything else on there. What needs to happen for you? Now, I told you I actually got my calendar for 2017 last night. I haven't even opened it yet. Paris. They like literally almost identical, but not quite. This is the one from last year. See how similar they are? I was gonna say they copied the same thing, but they didn't. They made it slightly different background. Okay? Right? Find a calendar that works for you, whether it's paper, whether it's digital, whether it's a combination. I personally like to start off on paper because then I can get creative. Use the washi tape, use markers, use whatever else I have around here, right? To nail down things you want to do. So let's see if I can get into this calendar. This calendar, by the way, came in a huge box. Like you would have thought it was like they were shipping my jet in that thing. I was like, what is in this box? It was just this calendar. I mean, I appreciated the esteem with which they shipped the calendar, which I'd probably buy for them again because they took care in doing so. But 2017, okay, Paris Glitz. Find a calendar that inspires you, one that you're going to use. The people in Pink Label, Beauty in Her Brains, they know that if it doesn't inspire me, I won't use it. Just honest. Find a method that inspires you, okay? So what you want to do is you want to take your calendar, okay? Right? Just make sure you have your calendar. Or at least, if nothing else, have your paper here. You write your notes down, okay? What you want to do is here. There's a section called Playtime plus Activities plus Retreats. I want you to answer those questions, all right? Just give it a gander. I'm going to give you a minute and we'll be right back while I do the same. Okay, so I know this, again, these answers may be tough to come up with right away. I didn't do this so that you can come up with the answers right on the spot. I did this so that you know what questions you need to be nailing down, right? You want to have a very successful, luxurious, but everyday, casual, be exactly who you are type of 2017. You need to think about how many trips do you want to have this year? And by trips, let me say this. If trips are not your thing, why don't you put how much time off will I give myself this year? What I want you to know is do not hold yourself to that number being the maximum. Let's say how much time do I want off this year, right? Let's say you want to take 3 weeks off in the summer to be with your children or whatever, right? Okay, you know, you want to take 3 weeks off, write down when those 3 weeks need to be off and plug them in. And that should say not even if you don't know when, it should say even if you don't know where. So we need to adjust that. Plug the dates in even if you don't know where you're going to go. Don't go, this is something I'm going to tell you. This irks me so much with some of my acquaintances. When I'm like, oh, well, when are you going to do this? Oh, I don't know because I don't know where I'm going. So you're going to wait until you know exactly where you're going to decide you're going to go somewhere and when you're going to go. Then that never happens. Before you know it, you went to a whole other year. You go, well, I never decided where I was going to go. Plug in the time. I want to take 3 weeks off in the summer and then figure out where that is. At least that way you have the time off. You may decide to go nowhere during that time. That's fine. You may decide to do what I'm going to do right after this meeting. Go home and put my feet up. Right? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll probably fall asleep right there. Right? Because I've been sick. That's what I'm going to do. Plug in when you're going to take your time off. Trust me, even if you don't know where. Okay? Oh, that's so funny. I actually have that next. How much time off? I'm very true to myself here. So, you got it there. How much time off and when? So the next thing is, what creative and fun classes or hobbies are calling to be a part of your year? A part should be 2 words. I'm editing my document as I'm going along. What creative and fun classes or hobbies are calling to be a part of your 2017? Now, this is something that I want you to really look into before you start planning business ventures that are not already nailed down. I have really been wanting to take a class, go back to dancing casually, you know. I've been wanting to learn how to paint or just do something really solid. I told you I tend to spend a lot of time by myself, a lot. So I still need that time to just be by myself or in a very quiet, intimate type space. I love intimate spaces, which is why I tend to have high value programs that are intimate, and they sometimes cost a little more, but they're really intentional. It's very discerning, and I show up so fully there. So I love intimate things. So I've been like trying to figure out what classes, what hobbies do I want to incorporate into my first quarter. Let me just start there. And I started looking through like the community centers out here, some different class schools. I asked Paisley for some suggestions, things like that. And guess what? I'm going to find a class that I want to try out, and guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it on my calendar. I am going to take my little washi tape or my chalk or whatever I'm going to use, right? And I'm going to block out, or even just your pen, and I'm going to go every Wednesday from 6 to 7:30. I'm going to be painting. I'm going to make sure that's on my calendar. So that way, if something comes up that's not an absolute once-in-a-lifetime thing, which I don't know how I feel about that phrase anyway. I feel like if it happened once, it can usually happen again. It's my own opinion. Depending on what it is, right? I believe in God, and God is full of miracles. I'm going to tell you that, okay? So I'm going to do that there, and I'm going to make sure that it's blocked out on my calendar. I mean, thankfully, I have my right-hand girl to pass that off to make sure, hey, Pay, make sure that I have nothing scheduled during that time. So that way, when I go and an opportunity presents itself to me, I can look at my calendar. I can pull up my Google Calendar here, which everything ends up getting synced to my Google Calendar, right? Remember, I start here for the creative stuff. I'm not creative here. This is where I'm tactical, okay? And I make sure it's here so that nothing gets scheduled during that time. Or I go, oh, here's a great opportunity to be an instructor. Like this year, I'm doing the Millennial Wealth Academy. I'm one of the instructors there. And I need to make sure that the days that I'm assigned that are not in conflict with time that I have committed to being for me. Okay? And then lastly, what special days, occasions do you want to celebrate? Anniversaries, birthdays, kids' time off, milestones, whatever things you want to celebrate, write them down now. Write them down during your planning process and plug them in on your calendar, even if it shifts. Let's say you know that in mid-April, there's an occasion you have coming up. You may not know exactly when. Block off as much time as you think to make a decision. Then when you make a decision, you can open up those other days that are not working. A lot of people do it in reverse. They go, oh, well, I'm only going to block out 2 days because I don't know how many days it's going to be. No, I will block out 7. And if it only's been 2, I'll take off the other 4 and keep that other one open for just a down day. All right. And the last section is goal setting. Goal setting. Break year goal into quarterly sections and then into monthly. Now this sheet here, which was download number 3, right? Which we're not going to go over this, but I want you to. It says what does it say? Let's break your 2017 BGD down into 4 mini BGDs. Okay, this is what I mean. I want you to decide if one of my BGDs, for example, is to live every month is an opportunity. So make an opportunity on my calendar every month. So then what I'm going to do is write my BGD here, right? And then I have, this is the 4 quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4. What do I need to be focusing on to make sure that my BGD is top of mind? Quarter number 1, for me, I need to make sure that I'm finding a hobby that I want to try and putting it on my calendar. That's the beginning of the quarter, okay? Let's say your BGD, I said I wasn't going to go into it, but I'm a mentor and a consultant, so it's hard, and a coach. Let's say your BGD was to increase your income 3 times above what it was the last few years, right? Okay, that's a great BGD. Now, what do you need to do in all the 4 quarters to make sure you're accomplishing that? Quarter number 1, you need to make sure you know how you're going to make that money, which comes into play with this cash flow plan, right, that I use here. Hope y'all can see that, right? And as you see, I love beautiful quotes. It says, making money is sexy and sexy is attractive. That quote is by Keisha P. Shields, because that's how I feel. Making money is sexy and sexy is attractive. Making money is sexy and sexy is attractive. Making money is sexy and sexy is attractive. Okay? So your offerings, your price, and then I put the number you'd like to serve, right? How many people would you like to serve? A lot of people will say, how many units do you need to sell? That doesn't feel good to me. How many people would I like to serve with that offering? Okay? And then what's the total that would happen if I got that? Okay? How much money you need to bring in this year? How much money would you like to bring in this year? If you want this template, we'll make it available. You can purchase it and I'll include another something along with it so you can have that. I highly recommend that you do this for yourself, because then you can take this as an example. If your goal is a money goal, if your BGD is related to money, you can then make sure that you're tying it into this, okay? All right, so that brings us to the end. We've done our 4 steps. Y'all up in your fields. You nailed down your big, gorgeous dream. You hopefully will stop and put yourself on the calendar, your activities. If you've been wanting to go out and explore your city. I moved to San Diego a few years ago and have not explored it. Before I moved here, I could not stop coming and doing stuff, right? I need to explore my city. It's beautiful, right? Whatever that thing is for you, right? Calendar play and then goal setting. Start with your 4 mini BGDs, okay? That way you have your 4 quarterly things you need to focus on. Okay, so I'm gonna give you 1 moment. So, yay, we have made it to the end. Let me say something really quickly. Some of you will watch this and go, oh my gosh, even though I already knew this stuff, I didn't realize the importance of doing it this way first, especially when you have luxury goals. Quick note, quick sub note. Having a luxury goal is very different than just having a goal. It requires a whole other set of skills and management. Excuse me. Right? Okay. So some of you will feel that way, and then you will take it and you're going to work through your sheets and you're going to run with it. Some of you are going to watch it and go, I already knew this stuff. Okay. But did you accomplish it? Let's be real about that. Did you become who you wanted to be? Or did you settle? Did you settle? Rather than running that program you wanted to run, you decided to do a mini version of it. Oh, I'm guilty of that. Because you're all up in somebody else's pockets, okay? Or whatever the reason is. Mindset is important. A luxury, abundant mindset is really important. You can have all the strategy in the world. This stuff is some strategy, some tactical. You can have all of that. If you're not looking at it from the right frame of mind, it will not matter. You're going to be at the end of 2017, looking back at your letter, assuming you even write it, which I hope you do, and you're going to go, man, another year went by and I didn't leap, right? So I hope that you're not that one. If you've watched it this far, do the steps. Go through it. Take what works for you and chuck the rest. I'm not one of those people who are going to say, if you don't do it in my order, it will not work. That's maybe. I mean, I'm pretty awesome, but maybe not. Take what you need. If what you need is to look at your goal as a BGD, that was for me was a huge, huge money shifter for me. Right? Not, oh, what my 2017 goal or my word for 2017. There's 365 freaking days and I have one word supposed to define my whole year. Might work for you, don't work for me, right? But what I know, my focus, how I want to feel in 2017 is that, girl, your brain is your moneymaker. Your brain is your moneymaker. And I want every woman or even man that I work with to walk through 2017 knowing that they are killing it because they realize that their brain is their money, right? And they've been denying that because what they want to do isn't out there. One of your issues that your ideas are probably way ahead of their time. So that you feel like it's not the right thing, you never do it. And then 4 years later, you see somebody doing the same thing and killing it. You go, I had that idea 4 years ago. I mean, not that I've experienced that or anything. It's pretty specific, but I'm just saying, right? Do the steps. Put yourself there. Put yourself on the calendar. Do your steps. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you so much, more than anything, for recognizing that you're very different than a lot of other people, because you recognize there can't be separation between your life and your other pockets. You realize that you have a designer mentality. Your standards are exquisite. Okay? You hold yourself accountable and you're very transparent with yourself. I am, as far as I know, one of the most self-transparent people. I'm constantly evaluating what I'm doing is working. If it's not working, how do I feel? What didn't work? What did work? How blah, 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 constantly, okay? Because it's important to me that I'm not waiting until some pre-scheduled time, oh, at the end of 6 months, I'm going to assess my progress. No, I'm going to assess it right now, okay? So I can change what's not working and what doesn't feel good. I work with a very few number of clients because, like I've told you before, I am high touch, high tech, meaning we do use tech tools, but I'm very high touch, meaning I'm accessible. I'm accessible. I recognize that your money is valuable. I recognize your money is an investment in your big, gorgeous dream. I recognize that your investment is honoring yourself to go, you know what? I haven't even told people the bigness that's here, right? And I'm ready to work through it. I'm ready to kill it. I'm ready to go for it. And you want some support. You want someone to be right there with you. You want someone that you can call when you're about to push the button. You've done all the work. You're about to push the button, and then you go, oh, but never mind. I didn't really want to do this. Push the button. You remember that from Rush Hour? Push the button. That's what I think about all the time, okay? You get to that point. We need to make sure that you're crushing your BGD, that it's happening for you. And most importantly, I need to make sure that you recognize your brain is your money. And I want to help you to figure out and construct. I get my hands in there and create and construct what that looks like for you, what that feels like for you, so that we can map it out very strategically, quarter by quarter, step by step, month by month, depending on how long you work with me, sometimes even more than that. What I'm doing is 2 things this year. Your brain is your money, which is my typically one-to-one, high-level one-to-one for the one who's ready. She's ready. She's like, you're right. I've been hiding my genius. I haven't been displaying it. I see people who look like they woke up yesterday and they are doing what I want to do. Like, I'm not new at this. You're right. Your brain is your money. And let's work together so that we can construct that and create that for you, because you don't have to do it on your own. Then I have Heaven Hustle and Homegirls, which is my mastermind, high class, super sweet sisters, where everyone wants everyone to win. I don't care if you exceeded me. That means it can happen. You go, girl. You go, girl. Tell me what worked, what didn't. That is, if you want that, if you need that, if you need a longer period of time, Heaven Hustle and Homegirls is probably for you. And what I decided to do for January, so depending on when you're watching this replay, is I'm doing and I just decided this tonight actually, a 6-week luxury intensive for Your Brain is Your Money. It's going to be a small, intimate circle. Depending on when you join, it may just be you in that circle, which means you get even more time. Your Brain is Your Money. It's solely for that one of you, my one, my plus one. If you want to know what that is, you can go to pinklabelinternational.com/one, O-N-E. You can read about the plus one. If that's you, I am offering for very, very limited time, very limited, a sweet deal, right? I am going to give you the original 50% off price. I don't give discounts. I'm going to tell you, I don't give discounts on things that require my time. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to give you a discount, but I'm going to give you the price point that I initially had it at, which happens to be actually a little more than 50% off. You can go to beautyandherbrains.com/2, D as in diva, V as in valley, T as in truth. beautyandherbrains.com/2, D as in diva, V as in victory, T as in truth, right? You can go there, and for those of you who are watching the replay, you can see if the special is still there. Go to it because it will be closing very, very soon. And if you need to chat quickly to understand if this is for you, because I want to make sure that it's for you. I am the kind of person, I typically know. I have actually never chatted with, intentionally chatted with. I never felt a coach out before I worked with them. Like, I usually knew by the time I got on the phone with them or whatever, I typically knew whether it was the right fit. And the call just kind of solidified the details. But whoever you are, whether you're that girl who's like, you know what, I want to take advantage of this. It's going down very, very soon. It's going to be at its regular price only. If you're that girl, push the button. And if you need to chat, we can do a quick 15-minute chat to discuss it. Email Paisley, Paisley, at beauty and A&D, her brains with an S on the end.com. Paisley at beautyandherbrains.com. Paisley will make sure that I get you on the calendar ASAP so that we can make sure that I can get into you, get into your mind. And believe me, I'm going to ask you those questions. This is an intensive. I am a beast when it comes to doing what I do. I am a beast at asking the questions that's going to make you feel uncomfortable, because no one will go there with you, because I know that that's what gets results. So email Paisley at beautyandherbrains.com and we will be in touch. And for those, and for the ones, for you who I owe a 15-minute opportunity because you came live, email Paisley at beautyandherbrains.com. We'll make sure that we get you scheduled for that. Completely complimentary, no pitch, no sell call. I hope everyone has an amazing 2017. Thank you so much for spending 2 whole hours with me. I went longer than I thought I would, or maybe I didn't. Got started a little bit later. But nonetheless, thank you. Thank you. And for those of you who are tired of playing games and you like, you know what? I feel that connection with this girl. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Put it on your calendar that I'm going to email Paisley to schedule a time to talk with Keisha, or book your spot, and then we'll get on the phone anyway if you wanted to make sure you secure it. Before I go, I forgot to tell you guys, when you're doing your planning, make sure that you have a notebook that inspires you and some magazines that inspire you. I don't use these magazines for like vision boards or any of that stuff where you cut out stuff. I use it just for inspiration to make sure that I'm doing what I say is true to me. Like this one, is your family holding you back? That has been an issue that someone is dealing with. It inspires me to make sure that I'm addressing that issue, right? So I thumb through it and I look at these pages and I go, I might want to try some new things this year, right? Or whatever the case, it doesn't have to be serious, you know? If you want to cut it out, so be it. But it's just more for inspiration, all right? Ciao!